David Ross. Our interviews with Rossi brought to you by University of Chicago Medicine as Ian Happ stands in against Max Scherzer. He had a foul ball. How are you? It was an abbreviated stay in the dugout in game one.
Well, this is the first time I've spoke since I've been out here. I want to make sure I get all 9 of these in and maybe more. I hate leaving so early in those games. Yeah, that stinks. I got to earn my paycheck today.
Chicago's broadcast is going to interview David Ross during this at-bat. We're going to go to the Mets to see all the pitches, but we're going to keep this one in mind because the interview will still be going on when the ejection happens.
2 coming from Scherzer, and that's pulled down the line, just foul. 7th pitch of the at-bat coming to Happ. Tries the fastball, and it's fouled off. 8th pitch of the at-bat from Scherzer to Happ, and he runs that cutter inside. It's 2-2.
Up top, right exactly where they're going. I hope it's not
And
on
he dances outside.
That could have been
Strike 3 call.
Happ did like the call from John Tumpane right there. And Ian Happ's been ejected, and David Ross has ejected the headset.
And it was John Tumpane that ejected Rossi from the game on Thursday when John was working third base. It's interesting. Rossi was ejected early in game 1 of this doubleheader. Buck Showalter had words with the home plate umpire. I mean, you don't know, right, unless you know exactly what's being said down there. But it seems to me like these guys have been really quick to react.
Yes.
Honestly, the best part about wearing that mask is that no one can read your lips. Somehow that's so, I don't know, freeing.
You know, arguably his best hitter in a game against Max Scherzer in the 3rd inning. And I don't know, you know, I don't know what Ian said, so maybe it was warranted. Which was a ball.
You know, it's fascinating. This is what, the 3rd straight ball strike ejection where the broadcast graphics don't match with MLB's own internal data? Remember, folks, it's any part of the ball, any part of the zone. It's 2-dimensional, limited as the graphic might be. Here's a side-by-side of how it appeared on the 2 feeds. Anyway, back to Tumpane and Ross. This is a situation handling masterclass, a very wise move by the umpire to walk with Ross while letting Ross talk about whatever it is Ross wants to talk about. But the point is that Tumpane is walking Ross back to the dugout so that when they get close enough, Tumpane can say, hey, we're done. Walk right on back to home plate, and if the manager continues to pursue it, it'll be an ejection for excessive arguing. That's a super low-key way of getting a warning out there to knock it off and say, hey, I heard you out, we're done, it's time to move on, while still allowing the coach to blow off steam.
Well, Happ thought this pitch was down. You can make the argument that was perfect on the knees pitch. Snatched up there by Nito when he makes the call. And he was walking away. So managers get angry when their players are thrown out if they're not showing up the umpire and walking back to the dugout. But again, if he said the magic word, and there's a couple of them, you get thrown out.
Meanwhile, David Ross was on headset talking with Cubs TV when all that came down, and he had to shed the headset and head out there. Seiya Suzuki takes a slider for a strike, and it's 1-1. At least he didn't slam it. Scherzer is such an adrenaline guy, and when Happ was called out on strikes and started to argue, Scherzer started screaming at Happ.
You know he's saying, hey, that's a perfect pitch.
Right.
Go sit down.
And, you know, maybe that's all it took.
Even Max Scherzer, who's intense, this is one of the things you love about Max Scherzer. Watch him here. It's a strike. And then, yeah, he's barking at Ian Happ in that spot. Now, again, it's one of the things you love about Max Scherzer. In that particular instance, Max, you're wrong.
Yeah,
not a strike.
So let me get this straight. According to the Cubs feed, it's not a strike. According to the Mets, it's a strike. And according to MLB's internal data, it is also a strike. Ugh, the electronic strike zone is the gift that keeps on giving.
Strike 3.